Hey everybody, how y'all doing today? My weekend is off to a spectacular start and I hope yours is going well too. I got up early like normal, went down to the park, had a good long walk this morning, then went by our little Saturday market and the guy with watermelon was there. It's been a little bit drier this past week, so I was kind of hoping he would show up. Bought a couple of big local watermelons, cut the first one this morning and it's good. It's good. So going to have a lot of watermelon this weekend. Yeah, life is just good. Life is good as always. And today I wanted to talk about living in the present moment, anxiety and fear. I do videos every day. I usually during the week I'll talk about the raw food diet, plant-based diet, a little bit of fitness here and there. On the weekends I like to do some readings, talk a little bit about mindfulness, about my mindfulness meditation practice, and just do something a little different. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate it if you would stop right now and hit that subscribe button, then click on the little bell and check send notifications to stay subscribed to the channel. I think I did a video a while back just talking about, not too long ago, talking about a little bit of anxiety I had dealt with, you know, just being in this situation, like plans having changed, my mother, you know, health issues, her being in the nursing home now, me taking care of the house here and everything, and being, you know, not going back to Costa Rica. I pretty much dealt with it pretty effectively, and, you know, besides my meditation practice and just breathing and mindfulness in general, I have also used a little bit of the CBD oil from a friend of mine's company in Oregon. But as I normally do, right this morning, I had the title for this video and had an idea for this video a few days ago, but I always, like at the last minute, like to Google and hit YouTube and see what I can find that's kind of interesting on the subject. And I found a really good piece on it. It's called Minimize Anxiety and Depression by Living in the Now. And it's odd. I saw, you know, I saw the little Google description on Google. I clicked on it and I went there and I read the article and I'm like, oh wow, this is really good. And I said, what kind of a website or blog is this? And I looked, and it's actually a blog on the website of a group of therapists out in Austin, Texas. But I thought the piece was really good. How much of your life do you spend in the present moment? How much time do you spend daydreaming, ruminating about the past, or worrying about the future? How much of your life do you miss by getting lost in thought? In his book, The Power of Now, author Eckhart Tolle, I never know if that's Tolle or Tolle, I'm going to say Tolle, explains that learning to exist in the now frees us from pain while connecting us to the infinite calm of our essential being. He attributes human suffering, depression, anxiety, guilt, worry, fear, and more to our tendency to live in our minds instead of in the present. If you take time to examine your thoughts, like I did, you might notice that they are very often related to the past or the future and are rarely focused on the now. Tolle argues that time, or psychological time, is essentially a construction of the human mind. In other words, the future, whether it's work on Monday or a beach vacation in 2 weeks, exists only in our heads. Similarly, the past is simply a collection of memories. The only thing that ever truly exists is the now. By always thinking about the past or the future, we are ignoring or resisting the now. In essence, we are denying reality and in doing so, causing ourselves a great deal of pain. The past produces pain. Tolle explains that too frequently ruminating on the past causes feelings of depression, guilt, and self-loathing. The following are examples of past-oriented thoughts that are likely to cause pain. I should have asked her out. I'm such a coward. I'm never going to find my soulmate. I shouldn't have said that in front of my boss. Now I'm never going to advance at my job. I wish I hadn't eaten that piece of cake. I feel fat and undisciplined. Even letting your mind drift back to happy memories can create sadness about that period of time being over, which can result in feelings of emptiness, loss, and general dissatisfaction with the present. For example, in college, I felt so free. I had a million friends, zero wrinkles, and boundless energy. I guess I'll never feel like that again. My life is basically over. The future forges fear. On the flip side, Tolle explains that regularly thinking about the future causes worry and anxiety. For instance, I have to go to the store, call the doctor, finish up 3 reports at work, and pay for a bunch of bills I can't afford. I'm so stressed out. On a Sunday afternoon, instead of enjoying the walk you are taking outside, you might find yourself thinking, oh my gosh, I have work tomorrow. The weekend is basically over. I'm dreading tomorrow. You see that on social media pretty much every Sunday. People aren't even enjoying that last bit of the weekend they have. They're already focused on Monday. Even habitually thinking about positive future events, which may initially cause feelings of excitement, can eventually cause dissatisfaction with the now, as you may deem the present inferior to your idea of the future event. I cannot wait until my beach vacation, warm sand, margaritas, time without work. Too bad that until then I'm stuck with work and cold weather. People are not experiencing so much of their life, and I've said this before, because life isn't these big moments. I'm sorry to tell you that. Life isn't your daughter's wedding. Life isn't your wedding. Life isn't the beach vacation. Life isn't your child's birthday. I mean, these are events. I'm not minimalizing those, but those are so few and far between. There's lots of little ticks on the clock in between there, and life really happens in those moments in between. So when we're not focused on the present, we're missing out on such a big portion of our life. Even worse, habitually living in the future prevents you from ever actually experiencing and enjoying these positive events when they do arrive. You will always be looking forward to something bigger and better. While on the beach, on that beach vacation, instead of enjoying the sun on your face and the sand between your toes, you might be thinking, I cannot wait until the shrimp dinner tonight, only 3 more hours. Disclaimer, Tolle grants that sparingly thinking about the future is acceptable insofar as it allows us to plan for the next step in life, but argues that most people spend far too much time doing so. I am definitely guilty of this and have too often ventured from sparingly thinking about the future to constantly thinking about the future. Luckily, there is an escape from the pain caused by the mind's continual creation of and rumination on psychological time. If we embrace the present moment, we unchain ourselves from this suffering and are free to enjoy the peace of true existence. The joy of the now. Don't let the fear stop the joy of the now. Easier said than done. How do you live in the now? Tolle teaches that the easiest way to start living in the now is by noticing the sensations in our bodies and by paying attention to the world around us as it unfolds. I like to pay attention to my breath while also noticing my surroundings, non-judgmentally observing the color and shape of the clouds, feeling the sun on my face, noticing my diaphragm move up and down with each breath. Every mindfulness can be practiced while driving. Feel your hands on the steering wheel and your foot on the gas pedal while gazing through the windshield at the road ahead. Cleaning. Feel the warmth of the towels fresh out of the dryer. Hear the quiet popping of soap bubbles and smell the lavender scent of the cleaner on the sponge. Walking. Notice the quality of your breath, the feel of the ground beneath you, beneath your feet. Observe the sights around you and listen to the sounds of birds, car horns, and other ambient noise. Whenever you find your mind drifting to thoughts of the past or future, gently redirect your focus to the present moment. On days that I am too far gone, I find that yoga helps me and sometimes forces me to reconnect with the moment. Matching each movement with an inhale or an exhale requires that I stay focused on the present. You know what, and that's an issue for another video. I've got to get back to my yoga practice, and I am going to get back to it, because sometimes people, if you meditation or whatever, it's a harder time to settle the mind. But if you can just tune into that body movement with the breath, it's very much being in the now. Let's see. Matching each movement with an inhale or an exhale requires that I stay focused on the present. By the time we lie back in Shavasana, corpse pose, I use my here and now momentum from the class to stay centered in the present. Afterwards, I'm able to attack the day with a greater foundation of calm and less needless stress. Tolle's secret weapon. In The Power of Now, Tolle provides a trick to help us avoid unnecessarily stressing out over psychological time. He instructs the reader to ask him or herself, do I have a problem right now? Whenever they start worrying about the past or the future, the answer should almost always be no, unless a rabid bear is chasing you right now. For example, although tomorrow, in a single workday, I need to figure out how I am going to complete lengthy treatment plans for each one of my clients on a new electronic client information system while also fulfilling my normal work duties as a crisis social worker. I do not have a problem right now. Right now I'm sitting on my back patio enjoying the first warm day in a week. And the only thing I need to be doing is typing out words on this keyboard. Not preemptively worrying about a task I cannot start addressing until work tomorrow. Before reading The Power of Now, I might have considered this work task a problem. Now, I know that the issue is just a life situation, as Tolle calls it, and I will address it when this task enters into my now. Because right now, I only have to devote my mental energy to the moment. Right now, and for the next 100 million nows, I am free to live in the peace of the present. You can even take this a step further by developing a fear of missing out on the now. Good little reading there, and it resonates so much. You can listen. You can find, this is simple stuff, and there's some science and stuff in there too. But you can take. You don't have to, as I keep saying over and over, I like to just encourage people to move in this direction. You may not be interested in a formal meditation practice, but this stuff can be done in the moment, on the go. You don't have to sit down. It's simply about, like he says, focusing on the now. I was doing a guided meditation a couple of nights ago, and it's just as simple as this. This one was real basic, which most of them are. Mindfulness and breathing and being aware of your breath is no more complicated than just, and you're not manipulating your breath, you're just following it, observing. But you're just, when you're aware you're breathing in, just be aware I'm breathing in. When you're breathing out, just be aware through the whole breath that you're breathing out. And when you're, that calms the mind. And it also, when we do this, I had to write this one down. What we do by doing this is we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, and it's the sympathetic nervous system that's affected the most by like anxiety and fear and what have you. I mean, I don't know. I can relate to this so much as I think I told you guys that I just was making sure I said something about that, about the anchor. I think I told you guys, you know, that recently after all this stuff, I was experiencing just a little bit of anxiety. And, you know, I have been, like I said, I've been using a little CBD oil in the evenings to help too. But mostly I just, you know, I just had to realize, I'm like, Jack, this is ridiculous. The biggest part, and I won't go into details, but the biggest source of the anxiety I was feeling was about 4 years down, 3 to 4 years down the road, more likely like 4 years down the road. So I was taking it to a ridiculous limit. I was worrying about something that could happen 4 years from now, where there's so much time in between there, a lot of time that I have control over what will happen there. But I just, you know, it's like in the now. In the now is where everything happens. Until you really, this stuff makes a lot of sense. It's very common sense stuff. It sounds a little woo-woo in the beginning until you really think about it, and you're like, yes, this is what it's all about. There's going to be how many ticks on a clock until that wedding you're going to in 3 weeks? There's going to be how many ticks on a clock until whatever big event it is you're waiting for? Or you're going to spend all those ticks on the clock just focused positively or negatively on that event that's in the future when we have so much time now. It's like, let's say Monday, and I used to do this a lot. Let's say I had something I really dreaded on Monday. Well, this is Saturday morning right now. Before, it would ruin my week. It would be in my head. It would be in my head all weekend, and that's all I would obsess over all weekend. Now, it's just like he said, you know, there's nothing I can do about it until Monday comes. So, and we exacerbate it by, we make it worse than it's going to be. Like it's a lot of times like maybe you dread going to a dentist or whatever, and that anticipation is actually worse than what you're going to experience when you get there. But anyhow, just my 2 cents on the stuff. Hope you enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Hope you're having a great weekend. Get out there and do something on that Sunday. Enjoy that Sunday. Embrace that Sunday. And I will see y'all all again tomorrow. Love you guys. Peace.